Hello, and welcome to New School Live at Eugene Lang College. We're here in downtown New York City at the New School, a university offering a range of studies from art and design, liberal arts, media and management, performing arts, and more. New School Live is a way for us to let you experience the people, projects, and learning that makes us distinct. New School Live is also designed to be interactive, so you can ask questions and post it on our Facebook page and find out firsthand what it's like to be a student here. In a moment, you'll be meeting students and faculty from Lang's Journalism+Design program. The students there are reimagining news reporting with their innovative ideas and methods. They're working alongside media and technology professionals on projects to make news gathering more inclusive. I'm Blum-Kryzstal, and I'll be with you for the next half hour as we learn and listen to what the students are doing and developing in this new class. So get your questions ready for the students, faculty, and special guests, and thank you for joining us.
Okay, everybody, we're going to wrap up our introduction, and we're going to start our actual exercises for the day. We are also starting the Facebook Live portion right now, so welcome to the potential students who are online and participating. Our first exercise, well, actually, before we start the exercise, let me tell you a little bit about the process that we're going to follow. We are going to follow a process that's called design thinking. It's a very highly collaborative process that focuses on the user for solving any type of problem. And in this case, we're going to be solving problems related to newsroom organizations. There are really three phases to this process: the discovery phase, the ideation phase, and then the prototype phase. In the discovery phase, our goal is to really learn everything about your organization and the problems that you are challenged with, who your users are, what their behaviors are. We want to get all of that information. Once we do that, we want to synthesize all that research and identify the opportunities where we can help solve the problems. In the ideation phase, we're going to take that information and those opportunities, and we're going to brainstorm a lot of ideas that will help solve those problems we have identified. We're going to take the best ideas, and then we're going to flesh them out to proper solutions. And the last phase is, what would those solutions look like in a realistic representational way? We would take those ideas and start putting them into action and see what kind of feedback we get. So we're going to get through most of these two phases today. We would love to give you ideas to walk out with, and we hope that you actually try them and tell us how they work out. The first exercise we're going to do is start at the end. You each gave us a problem that you would like to focus on for today, and I'd like you to talk with your teams about that problem. Imagine it's 6 to 10 months from now. You have brainstormed a lot of solutions. You've picked some solutions to try out, and they've been a huge success. What would that success look like to you in very specific details? What would be a win? How would you envision it? What are all the things that are happening that you are very, very happy about? So discuss that with your team. Consider your initial goal, and maybe that goal might need to be refined a little bit to encompass those details. The goals that everybody started with are Marstown Green at the end. The goal was to identify and leverage opportunities to monetize. Delaware Currents, our goal is to invite more user engagement, even as simple as sharing points. And the Freedom Press, our goal is to get journalists more time, resources to do community engagement. So these are the topics I'd like you to talk about with your team and really talk about the why. Why are these your goals? Is there an ultimate purpose that they lead to? And that's what we want to reflect in your final goal. For the students in the teams and the students participating online, this is a wonderful opportunity to ask the newsrooms and the facilitator any question you want and contribute to the conversation as if you were right here. We are going to give about 10 minutes for this exercise, and go ahead and get started.
All right. Okay. So the goal we have right now is to get journalists more time, resources to do more community engagement. So thinking about what that means again 6 months down the road, I think it would be great for us to try to expand on this. why are you trying to do that? Why should there be more community engagement? And what would that look like 6 months from now if you were to meet this goal?
Yeah, so the way that we view community engagement is more like face-to-face interaction and building relationships. To give an example, in Middlesex County, there used to, between two newspapers, about 10 years ago, they had about 20 reporters covering this entire county, and now they have less than 5. Wow. Right? So like, that's a lot of towns and people where things are happening and no one's able to really write about it or cover it. And so, so if we think that this type of community engagement, that type of face-to-face interaction is important, it is resource intensive. So how do we get how do we get newsrooms on board with this idea? Like maybe it's like de-emphasizing breaking news and like trying to invest more on journalists not focused on getting the story first, but telling it in a way that has a greater impact on the community.
Most truthful, most thought out.
Right,
Yeah.
right. More diverse voices from
Yes.
the community, things like that.
That's a good segue from one of the students on the Facebook Live wall. He had a comment, and maybe I'll try to phrase this as a question. Is design has changed journalism, and I guess design can be a very big word. Design principles, design thinking. There's a lot there. It can be tactical. It also implies technology as well. Is design making news reporting in your context more effective, or is it getting in the way of getting information and truth out?
Yeah, I think that design has been a really powerful way for people to interact with the news, because it allows for them to process and understand information in different ways. I think one of the things that we've seen recently, say the past 10 years or so, is this rise in data journalism. Data journalism has always been around, but the ability for people to tell stories graphically, to take complex or dense like numbers or information and display it in a way that makes it more accessible to the public. I think it's been it's to me hands down been beneficial to newsrooms. Yeah. It is time consuming. You maybe do have to hire more designers to work on your stories than newsrooms have been used to. But I think that what we should always be mindful of is what's the best way to tell this story to our audience. And sometimes it's not text-based or video or photography. Sometimes it's design-based. Sometimes it's infographics. It's data sets that people can play around with, all those different things.
It's like interactive.
Yeah. And interactivity is like one of the best things that has come out of the digital migration for news, is that people get to interact with the news more, as opposed to just being consumers, as opposed to just seeing it and consuming it. They can actually play around with it. Right? They can share it.
Which will make them feel more connected.
Yeah, they can manipulate the data to to get information that they want to see.
But how does Freedom Press, not so much getting so caught up in the modality, right, or the tactic of getting that information out, the actual journalism that's going on, the real hardcore work that you're doing, and real hardcore work, the true craft that's at the root of journalistic practice. Do you find that these two things are sometimes either overlapping, competing, enmeshing?
I never see them as being in competition with one another. It is the bottom line to all of this has always been, how do we tell stories that matter to people, and then once you identify that, figuring out the best way to deliver that information. Always.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
If I have everyone's attention for a minute, there's about 5 minutes left in this exercise. What I'd love for you to do is to just take a look at the notes that you've all written down. You can put them on the wall. Take a look at your original goal and refine it if you would like to. If you want to, if the first one seems like it captures it pretty accurately, that's great. Whatever you come up with your final, please write it on the wall in the goal section. So we have about 5 more minutes.
So how do we tell stories that matter to people, and why is breaking news stories more important than more thought-through ones? And more diverse voices are needed. and how does the newsroom afford to give that time and meaningful relationships, deep connections? So, do you actually mind putting these up on the board?
Do you want me to take yours and read them?
It's cool. So while I was just listening, I was thinking about what Mike was saying and Juliana was saying as well. Is that what's the underlying issue? And I think we have to really look into that, because what Juliana mentioned about how breaking news is more valued now, as opposed to actually reporting true facts and actually making sense of everything. And my second thing was just kind of where do we place our values? Because I think like you were saying about that total mentality and that shift of where and what is important and what do we talk about really needs to be developed and learned into, because what's the point of reporting news that doesn't matter?
Yeah. Right. Right.
I'll go put this up.
So I think something that you guys are looking for. I mean, as you said, right now the newsrooms are smaller and smaller, and every day there's more stuff coming up.
Yeah.
So it's almost a matter of efficiency.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What is the right way to tell it and what to tell?
Right.
Is that where the problem lies?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, efficiency is a big thing. Values, which I think kind of goes back to newsroom culture, and this idea of telling stories that matter was always something that was decided by journalists.
Yeah.
Right. We think that this means something, so we are going to tell you about it. And now, because of how interactivity has changed, it allows for journalists to actually get more feedback from people. And I think, and how do we get feedback from the community in a meaningful way that allows for journalists to
About 2 more minutes.
to respond to
Please
that.
have your goals written on the wall.
One of the problems is that they're often the audience is held in contempt, right? So if you look at comments on stories, it's just some bad stuff, bad people interacting in there, or journalists feel like they don't need to necessarily listen to their audience, and there's often this idea that journalists are smarter than the people that they're telling the news, who they're reporting for, and I think it's changing that value of no, we actually need feedback from the community to allow for us to find the stories that you want to actually.
Got 1 more minute to have your final goal on the wall. 1 more minute.
And I think a problem is that the value of a story currently is really only judged by how many clicks or shares it gets.
I need to interrupt. So I've been trying to listen at the same time as running out of time. Does this team, especially students, do you feel this is still too broad, or do you think? Okay. So how can we maybe narrow this based on we're hearing about changing the values of the newsroom and sort of the habits. And I don't know how this sounds.
No, it sounds right. So you're trying to get a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
Okay, make everyone's attention back up here.
Maybe how to narrow it down.
We're going to actually share with each other what we came up with as our final goal, compared it to the first. So everyone take a break from your Post-it and your writing. And we will start, we'll start backwards with Freedom Press Campaign. Our original goal that we started out with was to get journalists more time and resources to do more community engagement. Dominic, what did you come up with?
But what is important for us to keep in mind as we go through this is that we can fine-tune this goal, as we're going along.
Yeah.
There may be some exercises where we realize, we can really kind of narrow this down. So for right now, we have to get journalists more time or resources to do more community engagement so that newsrooms place more value in reflecting the deeper issues in communities, whether it's breaking news or a longer-term story.
Great. Great, so we are going to move on to our next exercise. Now imagine it's 6 to 10 months from now, and we've crashed and burned. And we didn't achieve what we hoped to achieve. Brainstorm. What do you think went wrong? What was the most probable thing to have gotten in your way to achieving success? And then I'd like you to put those Post-its on the wall.
Okay, so if we're talking about risk, then I feel like the main one that we keep touching on is the idea of hitting the topics that the people want. However, they need to be well thought through and accurate. However, we also want to avoid covering so many topics that they become irrelevant. But we also have such a broad audience that you have to cover what the majority wants.
Yeah.
So that's where we run into our risks.
Yeah.
Anybody have any risks for the board? I can add.
I was thinking with the two possible risks that I thought were pretty major was that when we look into like rewiring a journalist's like mentality on like focusing emphasis on value and like making the story the best possible story and exactly what the community wants to hear, there's like two potential issues, which is one, like there's so much time lost into honing into that one specific problem that there's nothing going out on the website, and like people are uninterested because nobody's reporting news. And then something else was maybe a possible bias, because if everything is just coming straight from the community and there's like no chance for the journalists to explore, there's automatically kind of going to be this like decrease in quality of writing, because like the journalist doesn't have a chance to explore like she did that but he did this. And I think that could be a potential risk. And like if people go to the Freedom Press to find like good written quality articles where they can like open up their mindset as well, because like what you said about having an open mind is so important, especially in like design thinking and stuff, that like I think everyone is kind of looking to further their knowledge and learn more. So that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, so it's just finding the balance between the journalist's voice and the community's.
So one of the risks that I think would come out of this is that if like the idea is trying to tell stories that matter or stories that have value, a risk would be someone clicked on the story a lot, then therefore the story matters and we should report more on, you know, cat parades or, you know, like listicles or things that are, you know, maybe a lot of people read but maybe don't have any like public interest value to the community. So I think that is something that we just hear.
Okay, so we are going to continue dotting our risks, but we would like to say goodbye to the Facebook Live crew. When while we continue with the rest of our exercises today, they will be leaving us. So thank you for everybody at home who is participating online. We hope you consider the new school. It's been really great having you.
Here at the New School, our approach to education brings professionals from a variety of industries throughout New York City into the classroom to advance your learning. At Eugene Lane College, you develop a variety of skills, from critical thinking to design thinking, from community engagement to writing. So we hope that this experience gives you a sense of the kinds of big questions that Lang students engage with, the ways in which they challenge the status quo, as well as the community that supports and nurtures student growth. To learn more, visit us here on our campus in New York City on the corner of 5th Avenue and 13th Street, or visit us online at newschool.edu. On behalf of all of us here at the New School and for New School Live, I'm Ryan Blum-Kryzstal. Thank you for joining us.